Good morning, everybody. This is your lecturer, D. Rajasekhar, Department of Botany, Srimati Ganganeni Kalyani, Government Degree College, Vinikonda, Guntur District. In this video lecture, you are going to learn structure and functions of cell wall. Before entering into the detailed study, we must know what is cell wall. Cell wall is a dead or deadly structure present around the cell. Cell wall is seen in bacteria and in all plants. Animal cells do not show cell wall at all. There is a major difference between the plant cell and animal cell. Actually, both are belonging to eukaryotic cells, but still plants are with cell wall and animal cells are not with a cell wall. Why this difference? We all know animals can move from one place to another by locomotory organelles, so that they can protect themselves from all sort of odd or adverse conditions. They can hide themselves from all sort of dreadful or adverse conditions, whereas plants do not, because plants lead a stagnant life. They complete their life cycle where actually they are planted. That is why, for extra protection, for protecting the cells, plant cells are enclosed by a cell wall. Structurally, plant cell wall contains three parts or three regions, we can say. They are middle lamella, primary cell wall and secondary cell wall. Middle lamella is present in between the two cells, just like a cement. So all the cells in the plant are connected or joined by this middle lamella, made up of calcium pectate and magnesium pectate. During cell division, after karyokinesis, that is nuclear division, the remnants of spindle fibers attain a barrel shape and then it is called phragmoplast, on which Golgi complex secretes calcium pectate and magnesium pectate, so that the phragmoplast is extended on both sides, so that the cell is divided into two cells. Thus, middle lamella is formed during cell division at the end of cytokinesis. And then primary cell. So along with this middle lamella that is present between the cells, each and every cell is enclosed by a separate cell wall that is called primary cell wall. Since it is primary in origin, it is called primary cell wall. Right from the birth of the cell till the death, it remains. It is present. It is mainly made up of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. This primary cell wall can allow the cell to grow, and it is very flexible, though it is with a primary cell wall. So the cell wall allows the cell to grow in all directions. After attaining maturity, below the primary cell wall, every cell develops another cell wall that is called secondary cell wall, because it is secondary in origin. It is not present right from the cell birth, but it is developed at maturity when the cell becomes older. Then below the primary cell wall, secondary cell wall is developed. When secondary cell wall is developed around the cell below the primary cell wall, the cell loses elasticity, so it is become stagnant permanently. There is no growth at all in the cell, so it is settled almost. Secondary cell wall is generally made up of chitin, cutin, suberin and lignin. All these components are not found in the secondary cell wall together, but various cells show secondary cell walls with different substances. For example, cork cells are with suberin secondary cell walls. Fungi are with chitin cell walls. Water plants show cutin cell walls. And xylem cells show lignin secondary cell walls. Here in this slide you can see the ultrastructure of cell wall. This is the upper part of the cell wall. You can see that is called what? Middle lamella. In the beginning of this video lecture, I told you about middle lamella. Middle lamella is found between the two cells. So it connects the neighboring cells just like a cement. It's a cement-like substance. And here in the diagram, the yellow color region is representing plasma membrane. So below the middle lamella and above the plasma membrane, you can see this part. It is called what? Primary cell wall. Here in the primary cell wall, you can see rod-like structures. They are called macrofilaments. They are called macrofilaments. Each filament is 1 micron length and half micron in diameter. Each macrofilament contains nearly or around 250 microfilaments. You can see within the rod-like structures, blue color rod-like structures, you can see microfilaments again. These microfilaments are 25 nanometer in diameter. Each microfilament again contains round ball-like micelles. Each micelle shows thousands of cellulose chains. Between these molecules, beta glycosidic bonds are present. This is the ultrastructure of cell wall. So cell wall, primary cell wall especially, shows what? Macrofilaments. These macrofilaments show microfilaments in turn. Each microfilament is with micelles. Micelles are with cellulose chains which are bonded by glycosidic bonds. Thus, very complexly, all these molecules together construct the plant cell wall made up of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. Here in the diagram you can see all these details. I hope you have understood this part very well. We will go to the next slide. This is the structure of pit. Though all the cells are enclosed by primary cell wall and secondary cell wall and middle lamella, but still they show some connections in between them. Those connections are called pit connections or plasmodesmata connections, through which all the cells are connected and they interact with one another and exchange material with one another. Here in this diagram, you can see pits. So pits are of two types, simple pits and border pits. Simple pits are just pore-like structures without any borders. We cannot see any elevated border around the pit. Whereas in bordered pits, you can see elevated margins around the pit. That is called bordered pit. Here in the slide, you can see bordered pits actually. So the center region, this is the pit actually. In this pit, you can see a long bridge-like structure that is called pit membrane. That is called what? Pit membrane. And this pit membrane, the center region, this is the central region of the pit, which is actually black in color. That is called what? Torus. And the adjacent parts, thin parts to the torus is called what? Margo region. And these are the elevated structures you can see on both sides of the pit. Thus, in primary pits, you can see either borders or without borders. If they are with borders, they are called bordered pits. If they are not with borders, they are called simple pits. These pits are the connections between the adjacent cells or neighboring cells. The center of the pit, you can see a long membrane, a thin membrane that is called pit membrane. At the center of this pit membrane, you can see the black region that is called torus. The adjacent parts of a torus of the membrane are called margo. So pits are the connections between the adjacent cells. Understood that cell wall is mainly meant for protecting the cell from all sort of adverse conditions. Not only that, the cell attains a particular shape and size because of the cell wall. Cell wall doesn't allow a cell, further extension or further development, so that the cell is settled both size wise and shape wise, so that the cell contains a particular size and particular shape. In this video lecture, actually we have seen the structural details and functional details of the cell wall. In plants, cell wall is an important character that is present around each and every cell. It contains three parts: middle lamella, primary cell wall, and secondary cell wall. Middle lamella is present between the cells or between the neighboring cells, made up of calcium pectate and magnesium pectate. It is constructed during cell division, especially during cytokinesis. Primary cell wall is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. It is present right from the birth of the cell. Then the cell can show elasticity, it can show growth and development. After attaining maturity, below the primary cell wall, secondary cell wall is developed, that is made up of either suberin or chitin or cutin or lignin. That is different from one cell to another type of cells. Cells and the cell walls, or the cell wall is made up of macrofilaments. These microfilaments are with microfilaments. Microfilaments are with mycellase. Mycellase are with cellulose chains. They are connected by glycosidic bonds. And we have learned about simple pits and border pits, the structure of pits. And finally, the functions of cell wall. What are the functions of cell wall? Protection of the cell and giving size and shape to the cell. I hope you have understood this video very well. With another video, we'll meet again. Till then, bye.